Hello, everybody. I talked about this a little bit in my last laundry vlog, but I wanted to give this its own proper video of a kind of reflection of some of the things that are happening in Valencia, just to kind of at least contribute one more, small voice of awareness of what has been going on in Valencia and what ways you can help if you're able to. So I live in Spain. It's been my home consistently for 5 years now. I've been here before in the past, but for the past 5 years, I've lived here in Spain uninterrupted. I've been taken in by its people. The country has treated me very, very well. It's been incredibly welcoming to me. It really does feel that I found a place that is, my place and a good place for me to live and all that sort of thing. The people have been nothing but wonderful to me. And Valencia is a region in Spain. It has a capital city itself of Valencia. And Valencia is currently experiencing one of the worst flood crises in recent global history, with heavy rainfall leading to devastating flash floods that have claimed over 200 lives. And that has just been what has been reported. That has just been, the people have been found. There are so many people are still missing. That number, it will be much, much higher. Outside of the human life that this flash flooding has claimed, it has caused severe destructions in the region, especially in many towns and villages across Valencia. Criticism of the Valencian government and the overall Spanish government's handling of the situation has been widespread across the people here in Spain, particularly regarding the delays in emergency warnings. When there's been so much loss of life, loss of livelihood, loss of home, the response that came from the government is, who are the government, mind? That's not Spain. The people who live here are the people of Spain, right? They are who Spain is. The response to the government has been widespread. It has been about these delays, and it has been people, residents, and even parts of the local authorities, right? Even those people of the more community level of local government have, to put it politely, expressed their frustration with the situation. That the emergency alerts, which could have been prompted earlier, resulting in, they could have been given earlier, which would have resulted in, evacuations. It would have resulted in preparations. It would have, that 200 number would definitely be lower, And if that lower number could be 199, 198, 197, even if it's just saving a few human lives, these are human lives, right? These are people's children's, these are people's mothers, these are people's friends, these are people's family, Anything that could have done to just save one more life. And a lot more lives could have been saved than just one more life is completely valid, and is completely worthy of people expressing their frustration, and expressing their protest, and expressing their mistrust with the services and infrastructures that are meant to protect them, that are meant to be there to keep these safe. The overarching sort of safety net that these sort of institutions are meant to represent, which we all contribute to and we're all a part of, but are meant to support us as the sort of lower individual. The evacuations were only sent out after the flooding had already impacted many areas. And the delay was attributed to, this is what they've attributed to, sort of like procedural requirements and the complex nature of predicting the exact severity or location of the rainfall, which in turn, that's giving delayed evacuation notice, and then the response to what's happening, gets affected in a timely manner as well. Public backlash intensified when the residents realized that the preparations and this sort of thing were truly inadequate and essential emergency measures were not swiftly deployed. We had firefighters from France arriving in Valencia before we had Spanish services arriving in those same areas, which is insane. And the French emergency services were shocked. There's video footage of them communicating with the people, and they're shocked that they are the first responders. The first responders were people coming from a different country, right? And Valencia is not on the border. If you look at a map, it's not acceptable, right? The regional officials have been criticized for not requesting national military assistance until hours into the flooding. They're like sitting around saying, like, is this so bad? Oh, we're afraid to call. Should we do this? When there should have just been like, okay, let's go. People were working up until the flood was happening because it's like, no, you stay working. It's absolutely disgraceful. It's absolutely disgraceful that we want to defend the working, well, not that we want to, but governments and people who are meant to protect us are looking to defend the working day and defending how much output you as an ant can bleed out before sort of the safety of self and home and family. It's like completely unacceptable, right? The delays informing people about the escalating weather warnings, were upgraded from orange to red of just like, okay, this is like severe, this is incredible risk, as early as the Tuesday morning of that week. Yet the alert messages only reached residents later in that same day. So, a Tuesday morning, meteorologists are going that there's an extreme risk of these sudden, unpredicted flash floods later today. And so much red tape and, let's people go to work and blah, blah, and we can probably do another day before these warnings actually reach the people. And those warnings were only reaching most people and most of these communities when the floodings were already actually underway. It's completely disgraceful. Yeah, as I was saying there, we've got death tolls that have risen above 200 people. Communities devastated by record-breaking rainfall. It's inundated streets, it's inundated homes, it's inundated businesses. And in response, the Prime Minister we have in Spain here, Pedro Sanchez, he announced a 10.6 billion euro relief package to support the affected areas. With that sort of, pot being split up and earmarked for different things like residents, businesses, the infrastructure recovery. However, many residents make this completely valid and, sort of clear counter argument of the support is completely inadequate given the scale of the damage. There's an estimation of the damage, and I think this is probably going to be a gross underestimation of the damage that's induced here exceeding 31 billion. Okay, so we're talking about a relief package that at best, if it is implemented efficiently, okay, is going to cover 30% of the damage that's done here. 30% of the damage that's done here if the pre-warning which could have been given, right, would have been a much lower number. And on top of that, forget about the money, the human life, loss of human life that could have been prevented. I mean, to sort of like add to the out of touch, how out of touch, sort of like these governments and these leaders are with the people. We had, because I just can't stay away from living under a monarchy, right? King Felipe went down to I think it was Paipota specifically was the town that he went to. He visited there with his wife. He visited there with Pedro Sanchez. When they were visiting, because obviously you're sending the king, the queen, and the elected leader of the country down to this town, huge security details. Most of the infrastructure of roads in and out are failing. So they have to block roads, which are preventing the trucks and services coming into the town. So they have to essentially stop aid so these people can walk around and kind of get their like foot on the ground, press pictures of them being there. While these people are actively, roads are being closed, and people are being, gathered together for whatever, for these photo opportunities of them walking around looking all sad and whatever. And I'm not saying that they weren't sad, right? But they're looking around doing this while people are like, hey, we're still trying to find bodies. We are still trying to find family members. We are still trying to find friends right now. We're trying to search through the rubble. We're trying to get, water and food to people. And this has to halt and this has to wait, because of your little village. So, So people that are getting, justifiably very, very, very angry, they encountered angry crowds. Right? They had residents throwing mud. They had residents throwing other things at them, at their cars. I don't promote violence. But I throwing mud at the king's car. I do think that sends a message, and I do think that is non-violent. Yeah, so I that is something there where hopefully that level of expressed frustration can kind of pass on a message, and I do believe that those sorts of acts there and that sort of response of disdain was, at least to my understanding, I am still an immigrant here, but I have lived here for 5 years. I am a part of the community. People are in support of the people of Valencia. People are in support of that. From what I understand, from what exists in kind of the temperature of what people think around me, at the very least. That royal visit was aimed to show like solidarity with the flood victims, but it really just highlighted this further, wider discontent with authorities, with monarchies, with these people, with the ruling class, essentially. Calls out for accountability and quicker action have just intensified from that. Especially since some communities were cut off from essential resources for days. Now I'm talking essential resources, water. In addition to deploying military troops eventually, local authorities are now focusing on disease prevention. Plumbers have saved more lives than doctors, right? Healthy sanitation and things like this are your ultimate defense in disease control, in well-being, in health, and we have streets here which are destroyed, which are flooded with mud. The entire region is even just forgetting about the actual damage to buildings and infrastructure. The streets are flooded with mud and sewage, so you can't even if that road isn't quote unquote destroyed, you can't drive down it. There is just so much there, and we have people out there cleaning, scrubbing the sheets. I was intending to go down this week, so I could give my body in as somebody who's quite physical, used to manual labor. I could, hand over my body to help with this cleanup effort. They were shutting down, volunteers going. Hopefully, I will be traveling to a village with a NGO in the coming week with some people, so I can contribute, as like a young able-bodied man in the best way I can to kind of clean up these things. But this is all dependent on whether that is required. I did have the idea to just like make my own way down there and show up, but I don't want to be a burden to a situation which is right. So I'm gonna go through official sort of charitable channels, like these NGOs that I've been speaking with to see if that is something they want from me, if they'd rather I stay here in Madrid and I can organize, I can work with helping to pack and load relief vehicles which travel down to Valencia. I will do that. I will use myself in the whatever way is the most required. Yeah, I do generally, a lot of situations have that, like, okay, I'm going to go there and I'm going to go fix it sort of response to things. So I do have that sort of response of like, okay, we better go there. But I will definitely concede to whatever judgment and suggestion is given to me by these people, of how they think I can be best seen fit to help out. So, speaking of the disease and speaking of that support and that aid that is being, sent to the region, whether that is clothes, whether that is temporary shelter, whether that is water, whether that is food, because these things are not there, right? One of the things is, from that disease perspective, prevention is tetanus vaccinations. The amount of people who are contracting tetanus in the aftermath of this flooding, because of the health risks posed by flood debris, is huge. If you want to help, if you live in Spain, you probably know how to already, because there is a lot of collection points within cities and things like that, of where you can donate of the things they are asking for, that they need, that they're going to send down to the various parts of Valencia. So donating to those local relief organizations, or which are working on the immediate needs like clean water, as I'm saying, medical aid, cleanup efforts are they're out there, yeah, especially here in Spain. As I said, there's NGOs, there's volunteer groups also on the ground helping to clear debris and clear essentials. That's why I've said to them, if you need me to go there, because especially because of the way my life and my weeks are formatted, I can go there for 4 days, and I can go help out. I can go there for 4 or 5 days, and I can help out. If you're interested in any of those sorts of things because you live in Spain, get in contact with me, and I can get some points of contact your way of people you can speak to, where you can go, I'm available for these days, and from here or whatever, and they can kind of instruct you on that way. But yeah, obviously there are international organizations which are quite easy to donate to, which are quite trusted, like Red Cross. If you search for like Red Cross's Spanish campaign, then that's something you can very easily internationally donate to. Or again, you can speak to me directly, and I can kind of pass sort of different directions you can go in. But I wanted to talk about this, even if only just like for the consequence of a few people internationally watch this and kind of get a perspective of what's going on here, because I have seen it on a lot of news, and I have seen it on international news and stuff like that. But obviously, the past months have especially been dominated by U.S. election cycle news and things like that. I want to talk about what's going on in Spain because not only do I think it's important to talk about these sorts of things whether they happen wherever in the world, and reflect on what's going on and help if you can, and send your love and support to these sorts of people as a country that's given me a lot of love and support for the past 5 years, especially because I did when I arrived in Spain, I was not in a good place in a lot of aspects of my life, and this is a country that has helped me in a lot of ways to now I'm at a point where I wouldn't want to change my life, my home for anything. So I just wanted to kind of chuck my voice, however small it is, into kind of the ether. But bye everybody. Thank you for listening if you made it this far. If you even just drop a little comment that's just like a little heart or something like that, just let me know you're here, and to increase the potential of other people maybe listening to this, because this is probably the only video in the furry fandom that's kind of discussing this, so to kind of get that idea out there would be appreciated. Thank you guys. Bye.